back with another video, and crazy times here today. Crazy times, England going into lockdown. I don't know where you're based in the world, wherever you're based, but England, everything's getting locked off now. The schools are closing. The supermarkets are chaos. It's all going into lockdown now. Wherever you are in the world right now, you just got to stay safe. Stock up on the bare essentials. But football, it looks like we might get Premier League football back in the foreseeable future. The Premier League have obviously extended the league until the end of June. The Euros was cancelled and moved back to 2021. And of course, they had a big EFL meeting today talking about the football league and the championship, and they say they're determined to finish that season and get the games done, even if it means the games are finished behind closed doors. Arsenal actually apparently will be back in training next Tuesday. That is when their 14-day period will be finished, and they'll be back in training. I think the Premier League will start in the next, maybe 3 weeks. I think the Premier League teams will need a couple of weeks to get fit. And I think the games will be behind closed doors. From what I've been hearing over here, the people I've spoke to, it seems as if, the Premier League are definitely going to try and finish the league season. But I don't expect fans to be at any of those games. Of course, large gatherings are banned over here at the moment. So, 60,000 fans inside the Emirates is probably not the best idea at the moment. The atmosphere is not the best anyway, let's be honest. Let's look at some of your comments. Charlie Arsenal, big one. Big up to you, Curtis. Stay safe, sir. Yeah, man, that's it, Charlie, man. I appreciate that. Everyone watching the stream now, you have to stay safe at uncertain times. Bob Marley 420 says, big up, Curtis. Big up, Bob Marley 420, always supporting. Taib Hussein said, I quit my temporary job because of coronavirus. Wow. These are lengths people are having to go to, man. Jobs aren't secure. People are having to do what they can. Abdullah Alamami said, no chance the season will be scrapped. It's inevitable, unfortunately. No football for a year, I say. I mean, I think they will finish the season. There's too much money involved. And, in England, like most businesses, they're dictated by money. And I think the Premier League will finish. It'll be interesting if they stream or show the 3 o'clock kickoffs on terrestrial TV over here. The likes of Sky and BT, will they show the games? What they're going to do if there's no fans there? Let's have a look. Max Carroll says, big up, Curtis. Love the streams, bro. Yeah, man. I've got to get back on it, really. I haven't really been on the streams too much lately. But yeah, I need to get back on it. I love the interaction. Bob Marley 420 says, what do you think of the Aubameyang rumours? They're worrying. I mean, I was just about to come on to that, of course. Aubameyang being linked with Barcelona for £50 million this summer. Apparently, they approached him and his agent in January. And the rumour is that Aubameyang was keen on the deal. Now, it's one of those clubs that not many players will reject. And, you have to be honest. From a footballing point of view, who could blame Aubameyang at this stage leaving Arsenal and going to Barcelona? I mean, look where we are. We're ninth in the Premier League. We're out of Europe. We're not looking great. And, he can go and finish his career at Barcelona playing next to Messi. Now, the thing is with this story, it seems as if he's not Barcelona's top choice. I mean, Aubameyang turns 31 in June. He also is asking for around 300 grand a week and, of course, 50 million to buy him. Barcelona have already got Luis Suarez, who is in his 30s. The rumour is they want Martinez from Inter Milan, the Argentinian striker. And there's talk of Vidal going to Inter plus cash. They're also looking at Arthur from Barcelona as well. Apparently, Antonio Conte likes him. So the thing is, we've got to hope Barcelona look elsewhere. Inter Milan also being linked with him as well, if Martinez was to go to Barcelona. And also PSG, although I don't see that rumour being as strong. They've got Icardi and Cavani, Mbappe, Neymar. They don't really need a striker. The problem Arsenal have, Aubameyang has 1 year left on his deal this summer. If he doesn't extend his contract, I just don't think the club can afford to keep Aubameyang with his contract running out. I think they will sell him if he doesn't extend his contract. It was interesting that Bernd Leno did an interview talking about Aubameyang, saying that he expects Aubameyang to stay. So obviously there must be positive things being said in the dressing room to convince Leno to make that comment. There's no way we can afford Aubameyang to run down his contract. He turns 31 in June. By the time next season starts, he's 31 years of age with a year left on his deal. Financially, it doesn't make sense. They have to offer him a big deal to convince him to stay at the club, because he needs convincing. You are not just going to be able to keep him at the club. Taib Hussein said, Curtis, if Arsenal keep selling their best players, how do they go about finishing in the top four? I agree with you. But what they have to do is change their contract policy. Don't allow top players' contracts to go close to their last year. I mean, Aubameyang, at the end of last season, we should have got a new deal sorted. He was happy, he had a couple of years left at the club. They should have offered him the big contract and convinced him to stay. Amar Al-Khawdi, hope I said your name right, mate, said, why wouldn't he go, Curtis, even if as a bench player, at Barca? I mean, at 31, he probably isn't going to want to sit on the bench at Barca. I think at that age, you need to play football. This will be the last major contract of Aubameyang's career. He may look it, apparently he's very settled in London. He loves Arsenal. He's reiterated how much he loves the club. But the problem is, if Barcelona come knocking, I don't see how we can reject that deal. And I think, we need to be careful. But the thing is, the rumour is that Aubameyang is looking for Champions League football. Now, at this stage, even if we do finish the season, can you really see Arsenal being in the Champions League next season? It's going to be very, very difficult. I think our only hope is possibly finishing fifth if that Manchester City bang comes through. But when you look at Arsenal's remaining fixtures, I'm not overly confident that we'll finish fifth. I've got to be honest. Big up Jamrock Gunners TV. Everyone check out his channel. Big up, bro. Says, bless up, Curtis. Missed the first few minutes. Quick update, please. Now, I was just going over. It looks like the Premier League will continue, but behind closed doors. I think within 3 or 4 weeks, we may see Premier League football back in action. Arsenal back in training next Tuesday. And 4 Premier League clubs already back in training. 100% Guna Jagite says, bro, I won't give Aubameyang more than 280k. Because I don't want us to stick just like Ozil. Mane, Salah, KDB never have more than 280. It's very difficult. It works on a club-to-club basis. Aubameyang is going to sit in that office and say, look, top goal scorer the last 2 seasons. Won the Golden Boot last year. Very good chance he wins the Golden Boot this year. And you've got Ozil sitting there on 350k a week. He is going to be saying, you need to put me close to that if you want me to sign a new deal. Now, so let's see. Abdi says, how are you, Curtis? Big up. Yeah, everything good, man. Same as everyone else. It's a time where the media, if you watch too much news and stuff, they panic you. Now, to a certain extent, we do need to, act accordingly, but panicking won't help. Stay calm, stay positive, and do what you need to do. Ishmael Adil says, can't we get about 50 million for him? Then having a young Brazilian striker for that money, what do you think, Big Cut? We've got Martinelli. I think he could play through the middle. I don't think he would score the goals that Aubameyang gets, but, we always find a way. Over the years, I've always felt like, oh my days, there's no way we can possibly lose that player. And then we lose that player and we recover from it. It's disappointing that it keeps happening. But let's hope we can convince Aubameyang. Maybe if his options are limited and we offer him enough money, maybe he'll decide to stay. He's captain. I think he's got a big emotional attachment to Arsenal, so we got to hope that works. Amir said, under the Kroenkes, we aren't going anywhere. I totally agree with that. Totally agree. I think we have the wrong owners. I think we have owners who don't really care about the well-being of the football club and the fans. If they did, they wouldn't be acting the way they're acting. It shows they're very laid back, and they don't seem overly interested in, winning trophies and trying to challenge for the Premier League. This is a business. Arsenal are the cash cow, and that's just the way it is. Bob Marley 420 says apparently Barcelona aren't willing to pay 50 million, and I can't see Barcelona paying 50 million for Aubameyang. I genuinely don't think they will invest that much money in a player that turns 31. Um, and I think they'll be looking for a younger striker. They've got Luis Suarez in his 30s. They've got Griezmann, who's like the false nine. But I think as an out-and-out number 9 striker, they will be looking for a younger player. That's just my opinion. Tayyip Hussein said, Abu Javier or Rigobert Song. Oh, mate, I remember Abu Javier, man. Them crazy haircuts and the big beard, he was a character. Rigobert Song, I think, was he the centre-back? I'll go Abu Javier, man. Abu Javier, how do you pronounce it? I'll go for him. I saw a little bit more of him. I think did he play for Portugal? Ismail said, Emirates without fans will be a downer, don't you think? I mean, look, the atmosphere is not great at the Emirates at the best of times. But yeah, behind closed doors, football is very flat, very boring. I remember watching an England game on TV behind closed doors, and it was dull. It was difficult to watch. But we're so starved of football right now. It's really difficult without football. It's so boring. I think even behind closed doors, football would be better than nothing. Amir says, Curtis, what do you think of our midfield? I think it's rubbish, mate. Honestly, I'm being honest. I think our midfield is the weakest part of our team. Um, yeah, I don't rate it at all. And would you make Danny permanent? I did a video about this the other day. I think I would. I would try and negotiate the price down a little bit. Apparently, Real Madrid want £36 million. I think if you can get that down to 30, 25, he's 23 years of age, man. Spanish international. I can see potential in him. I think if we can put a physical presence next to him, a real destroyer, someone like Thomas Partey would be ideal for Arsenal. I think you would really see a good player in Dani Ceballos. So yeah, I would take it. And back to your first question. Our midfield is not good enough. It lacks balance. Xhaka, although he's been good, at the right price, I would still sell him in the summer. I still don't think he's good enough. Torreira is okay. I think not amazing. I think he's a decent player. He gets about the pitch. But he's all right. Guendouzi, he's got potential. At the moment, he's not the answer. Ozil in the 10. I think his time's up. Taib said Ceballos is too slow. He's not the quickest, but I do think he's good on the ball. I think, he needs time to adjust. I think as a centre midfielder, to adjust in a league that is difficult and in a team that is struggling, it's not easy circumstances for Ceballos. So I would stick with him. I do think there's a good player in there. Ismail said, if you could get around 150 million for our transfer window, who would you sign? I'd go and get Upamecano because I think you could get him for 50 million in the summer. He's got a year left. I don't think he'll extend. I would pay 50 million for Upamecano. I would take Thomas Partey. He's got a 45 million release clause in his contract. If he doesn't extend, Atletico can't negotiate that. So 45 million on Partey as well. And if we had another 55 million left, I would still go for a winger, potentially a left winger, because I think Martinelli will become a striker. I would still take Wilfred Zaha, honestly. I'm just trying to think of left wingers: Leon Bailey, Wilfred Zaha, somebody like that. I would go for a good winger with pace who can dribble. So someone like that. Bob Marley 420 says, very excited for William Saliba in the coming season. His stats for Saint Etienne are insane despite not playing many games due to injury, and he clearly makes a big difference in their team. Very much so, man. You've got to think, you look at next season, I mean, Pablo Mari, we haven't seen a lot of him. I think Arsenal will make that deal permanent. There's no doubt about that. Saliba will come in. Tierney, we've hardly seen him in an Arsenal shirt, really. And I would potentially get a new right back. Obviously, Cedric Suarez is in. until the end of the season, we could have a completely new back four from what's playing at the moment. Mustafi, for me, he's playing well. I would still sell him. I don't rate him. Chambers, I think, he's finished after the injury. At best, he can become a squad player, but he's not good enough. Rob Holding is massively overrated. I honestly don't think Rob Holding's that good either. Socrates, I don't rate him either. I would genuinely sell all of our centre backs nearly, or all of them. I would probably keep David Luiz as a squad player. I think he's our best centre back, and that's saying something about our team. He's only got a year left on his contract in the summer. You'd keep him as a squad player as backup. I'm told David Luiz is very, very popular in the dressing room. So you could make an argument for selling all of our centre backs. Jamrock Gunners TV said Zaha would be good. Amir said no, Zaha is rubbish. He does split opinion, Wilfried Zaha. One thing you can't deny, he is a dangerous player. And what I like about him, he's such a dangerous dribbler that he tends to draw like two defenders to him because teams know how good he is. Sometimes you can be very good without having amazing goal stats. He's still got double figures last year. If you can get 10, 11 goals at Crystal Palace, who are a struggling team, who's to say Zaha couldn't come to the come to Arsenal and get maybe 15 goals, which would be decent. Balloon Pop said, I think that Chambers is our best centre back. And that's saying something in it, bro. Let's be honest, man. If Chambers is our best centre back, what does that say about our defence? Because to me, Chambers is nothing special. Ishmael said there isn't a good right back in the market for a good price. I mean, you look at it, I think Max Aarons will be a good price in the summer. Norwich, if they get relegated, I think he is a good young right back. And I think we could get him at a decent price. I actually think Cedric Suarez will probably get in the team ahead of Bellerin when he's fit and available. Bob Molly 420 said, without spending any money, we could have a completely new back four and spend big on our midfield. And we already have some very good attacking talents. And that's right. Like I said, Mari will cost 7.5 million, I think. He's cheap. Saliba's already done. So there's your two new centre-backs, possibly. Cedric Suarez, or go and get Max Aarons. And then Tierney's already there, like a new signing. Leno, I think, is a good keeper. So we could have a new back four and goalkeeper. Not new, but, as a unit collectively, a lot of different players. Go and get the likes of Thomas Partey. Go and look for a ball player if Ceballos is not the answer. And I would still get another winger. 100% Guna Jagate said, Holding is not good enough. I agree. I don't rate him at all. He's massively overrated by the Arsenal fans. Jamrock Gunners TV said, I agree. Raid Norwich for Aarons. Also get Campbell for squad rotation. I do like the look of that Campbell. Good player, man. Seems to be a bit of an Arsenal fan as well. I'm not sure, but he was giving the Tottenham fans a bit of stick. Gunnar Kirk said Aarons is quality. I agree. I would definitely get him. Hala Madrid said Saka is class. I mean, another player we need to tie down to a new contract. Hala Madrid said, I'm new in the comments. Always welcome, man. Don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And if you would nominate me Best New Content Creator at the Football Content Awards. There'll be a link in the description below. Don't worry. Balloon Pop said, do you think we should sell Bellerin? I just don't see him getting much better. He looks short of pace since the injury. I know he had a major injury, man, so I don't expect him to just come back and be the same player. But, Bellerin's form is worrying me now. I think if a team was willing to spend, 35 million plus, I would get rid of him. I think there are better right backs out there than him. Abdi says, where is the link? I'll put it in as soon as I finish the video, bro. For anybody who wants to do it. Taib is saying, Curtis, do you rate Balogun? I think he is a real talent. And do you know what? I'm surprised he hasn't played for the first team yet. I think he will before the end of the season, but really good player. I see him overtaking Eddie Nketiah, if I'm honest. Rafal said, Curtis, if the Premier League season finishes as it is, do you think Liverpool should get the title or just arrange it so that the current top four make the Champions League without a title awarded? Respect as always. Thanks for your comments, man. To me, you haven't won it till you've won it. Now, it's very harsh on Liverpool because Liverpool are going to win the title. There's no doubt about that, as long as the games are completed. And I believe the games will be completed now. But I have to admit, I don't think they should be awarded the title until they've mathematically won the title. That's just my opinion. They don't give Lewis Hamilton the trophy if he's you know miles ahead of everyone. You've got to cross that finish line. Now I know these circumstances are totally different, but I think you've got to finish the season. And if you don't, I think you've got to write it off. That's just my opinion. But Liverpool fans, don't worry. I'm almost certain that the season will finish. I think it'll be behind closed doors. There may not be no big parade or anything. That'll be difficult, but I think they'll get the title sewn up, man. So no worries. Carol said money could be an issue even more this year because of the loss of revenue. We are Arsenal. We have Kroenke. Well, you just know, don't you? You know that by the time the summer transfer window begins, that Kroenke will say something about this whole Corona issue, that it's affected our budget. We can't spend more than this amount of money. You can see that comment already being made. It won't affect the other big clubs. Mr. Fish said, do you think Coutinho's washed up? Why did he flop at Barca and Bayern? It's very difficult with Coutinho because he's like a number 10. But a lot of teams now don't play with 10s. So he tends to get played on the left. And on the left, he's not an out-and-out winger. He almost drifts off the left and plays in that 10 role. So when he plays on the left as a natural winger, he's just not the same player. At Liverpool, he used to tuck in and was very hard to pick up. Barca played him in that Neymar role on the left. He's not a winger. He's not got the speed to play like that. And the same thing at Bayern. You look at Bayern, they're playing Gnabry on the left. Look at the difference. But Coutinho's still a great player. I would still be interested in signing him at Arsenal. Mr. Walk said, Supsy, yeah, all good, man. Just, how it is, man. We're all indoors right now trying to deal with it. Balloon Pop, do you think we will ever get Upamecano? It's difficult because, he's being linked with Barcelona, with Bayern Munich. How do we get ahead of them teams unless he's just desperate to play in the Premier League? And even then, other Premier League clubs might come in for him. We can hope. We're linked heavily with him. I know we made an offer for him in the summer, and I think we'll go back in for him next summer. So fingers crossed, man. Bob Marley 420, we have a lot of players we can clear out, which hopefully would generate revenue, some funds which could get us some big improvements in the squad if we invest savvy. I mean, you're looking at El Neni, Mkhitaryan, they could go. I would get rid of a lot of players, man. As I said, Mustafi, Xhaka, Bellerin, possibly, maybe even Kolasinac as well. There's a lot of players I would sell, man. And Taib Hussein says, Curtis, if Diarra didn't have so many injuries, do you think he would have become world class? I mean, he had huge potential, man. He was that box-to-box midfielder. He was so hard to pick up. He just glided past midfielders. I think he had goals in him. We missed out big time. I always think Diarra and Rosicky and Cazorla, injuries held them guys back big time, man. Arsenal Alex says, take care, mate. Stay safe. All of you guys too, man. I appreciate that, Arsenal Alex. It's a difficult time for people, man. Jobs are uncertain. Travel is difficult. Everyone's trying to stay healthy, and the shops are empty. People are getting in there first thing in the morning, buying all the food. Schools are closing. It's difficult, and on top of all that, we got no football, man. I might have to start, playing FIFA again or Football Manager or something, because it's hard. It's hard for content creators right now. Balloon Pop said, do you think Partey will join Arsenal? Very difficult again. I mean, apparently he's in talks about extending his contract. That would take out the release clause. He would be very difficult to buy. If he doesn't extend and he keeps that release clause in, maybe. He said positive things about the Premier League before, that he wants to play in England. So you never know. We have to make big offers, but it depends how ambitious Arsenal are, If we were to get Upamecano and Thomas Partey, all of a sudden we look like a different team. Ishmael said, we still got El Neni on loan. What a terrible player, man. No disrespect. He was a try-hard, he tried his best. I can't question that, but in terms of quality, nowhere near good enough. Let's have a look. Ishmael said, "What will happen to the relegation battle if the Premier League gets cancelled?" Interesting. I don't think you can relegate a team without them being mathematically relegated. There will be court cases galore. So I think they would have to stay in the league, which is difficult. And then what happens with the promoted sides? As I said, I'm pretty sure that the Premier League and the Championship, those sort of leagues, I think they will complete their fixtures. But I'm just pretty sure they'll be behind closed doors. Carroll said Arsene Wenger was banking on Diaby being the next Vieira. Apparently, Vieira said Diaby could have been better than him. Uh, I think you make a good point. I think Wenger was always waiting for Diaby to be that box to box. I don't think he was anywhere near Vieira's level. Vieira had everything. He was just an animal in the leadership. But I think Diaby had that potential to be the box to box midfielder. With the likes of Fabregas and give us that physical presence. Taib Hussein said, Curtis, I think Arsenal could go in for Sangare or Samare in the summer. I mean, we were linked with Samare, I think, in January. But, it's like a breakthrough season. We'll see what happens in the summer. I think a lot of clubs will be after both of them. This whole Aubameyang situation, obviously, as we was talking about, is quite worrying as well. Ahmed said, Curtis, thoughts on the next season kits? I mean, I've seen some concept kits. Sorry, the home kit that I saw. If it's the same one everyone saw, I think he had like the Adidas stripes on the shoulder. Didn't like the look of that at all. It looked like a Puma kit, so I hope that one doesn't happen. Do you think that the Premier League suspension will get extended on the 3rd of April? I don't think it will. I think they will get back down to business from there. I think all clubs will be back in training by then. And I think if they test the players and find that the players are testing well and they're positive, I think Premier League action will return a few years after. Curtis, what is your favourite Arsenal kit? Out the current three, I like the bruised banana, the yellow one. In terms of overall, mm, what? I did like the night kits. I'm not gonna lie. I was a big fan of the night kits. You know what? I think I've got an Arsenal kit on now. I was a big fan of this kit, um, the blue one actually. I don't know if you can see that. The blue one that we got battered 8-2 against Manchester United in years ago. I mean, it wasn't a good kit for us in terms of results, but I was a big fan of that kit, man. The night kit. Um, Gunnar Kirk said the league will continue, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, I think it definitely will. Um, it's interesting today that we were linked with Samuel Umtiti again. We're being linked with centre backs galore. So we were linked with Smalling and Lovren, not the type of players that we want. Um, you know what? Just getting into this, Mr. Fish, who big up Mr. Fish, always comments. He's a Chelsea fan. He says, "Why do you think Fabregas snubbed Arsenal for us?" Well, the story behind that was when Arsenal sold Fabregas to Barcelona, we had the buyback clause that meant if Barcelona were going to sell Fabregas, we had first refusal to sign him. Now, from what I've heard, and not everything is gospel, but from what I've heard, Fabregas was offered to Arsenal, and Arsene Wenger turned him down because he felt that with Ramsey and Ozil, he had enough players. Even though I don't believe Fabregas plays in the same role as them, he believed that he didn't need him back, and he refused to sign him back. And I think he was a little bit bitter by the way that Fabregas had left the club after constantly flirting with Barcelona. But I couldn't blame him. He's born and bred there. Of course, he's going to want to play for them. So we didn't take him, and of course he went to Chelsea, won the league, scored against Arsenal. So I thought it was a big, big mistake at the time. I would have snapped up Fabregas. So I'd have brought him back. He'd still get in our team probably today. That's how bad it is. Bob Marley 420. Apparently Frankie de Jong wanted to come to Arsenal before Barca. Imagine what he could have done in this midfield. I mean, there's so many stories about those players. I mean, we were, I read the book. Apparently, we were days away from signing Cristiano Ronaldo. He was at the training ground. They'd agreed terms with him and the club. and then Manchester United came in with a bigger offer, and we couldn't afford to match it, and he went to United. So imagine if Cristiano Ronaldo, Zlatan was at the training ground. He flew over to sign. Of course, we offered him the trial. He said, Zlatan don't do trials. We've missed out on a lot. We also tried to sign Messi when we signed Fabregas. We've missed out on loads of players. Yaya Toure was on trial. We never signed him. Wenger played him up front famously when he was a midfielder. Loads of them situations have occurred for Arsenal. I'm going to shoot off. I'm going to try and do lots more live streams throughout the week. Try and keep everyone occupied. I see a lot of other channels that are doing live streams as well. Big up everyone. Trying to keep everyone in the know. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, let me know in the comments what you think, and as I said, I'll put that link in the description. Hopefully you can vote me as best content creator, best new content creator should I say, at this year's Football Content Awards. Big up everyone, take care at this difficult time, stay safe, and I'll be back later in the week. Bless.